With everyone rushing to do business online, it is so critically important that we hone in on these top 5 digital marketing strategies so that we stand out in the marketplace. What's going on? My name is James Patrick. I'm an internationally published photographer with more than 500 magazine covers to my credit. I'm the best-selling author of Fit Business Guide, the workout plan for your brand. I'm the host of the top charting entrepreneurial podcast, Beyond the Image, and I'm the founder and creator of the annual Fitposium Conference. Now, I've been working in digital marketing for 2 decades, and this year there are 5 strategies that we need to be honing in on so that we stand out in the marketplace. The first is to have an effective content marketing strategy. Now, when it comes to content marketing, it's not enough that we're just posting on one platform. We have to be across multiple platforms, and the best way to do that is to engage in what I call pinnacle content strategy. So pinnacle content is you create one major piece of content. For example, let's say it's a video that you create once a week. From that video, you could then upload to YouTube, to Facebook, to IGTV, to Vimeo. Now you're on all these platforms. You take the audio, that can be uploaded to every podcast platform, just with one upload. You take the transcript, that becomes your email newsletter. That also becomes your blog. You take a quote from what you said, that becomes an inspirational post tile. You take a 1-minute clip, that becomes an Instagram video. You take 15-second clips, that becomes your IGTV stories. There are so many pieces of content that you could generate off one pinnacle piece of content. So it's about determining what platforms to be on. What platforms do you need to be on? Well, it's the platforms your audience would be on. So for example, my audience lives and breathes on Instagram, and they also are on podcasts. So that's where I spend most of my time. My audience would not necessarily be on Facebook as much, or they might not be on Pinterest as much, but your audience might be. So knowing your audience is a clear component of understanding this. Now, with content marketing, it's also important that we look at the SEO and the long tail benefits. Now, this plays into account if you're doing blogs, if you're doing podcasts and YouTube videos. So you have to ask yourself, with your headlines, what is going to get people to open this blog? What's going to get people to search for this headline? What would get people to want to engage with this content? And to craft a headline that really edifies what your audience is looking for or needs right now. Then, if all your content is pointing back to your digital headquarters, which should be your website, if all of it's pointing back to your website, you're going to generate that inbound traffic. And every blog you create is a new door to your website. Every video post you do is a new door back into your website. Now, when it comes to creating content, really you have one of 3 goals. You need content that either entertains, educates, or inspires your audience. And you have to tap into what your audience needs from you, why they're tuning into you. And then, are you there to inform, inspire, or entertain them? Or maybe it's a combination of those. But those are your 3 goals. So to wrap this into what is the content that you're going to be putting out that gives value to your audience? Because when you give value to your audience via your content, they now have a reason, not just to follow you, but to engage with you. Step number 2 is audience growth. Now, that's understandable that it's really difficult to grow your audience. We get that. But here are some things you can do to grow your audience. When it comes to the content you're posting, you want to create content that has so much value that your audience does one of 2 things. They either save your content or they share your content by clicking the save button or the share button. The save button is important because that's them saying, I want to look at this content later, which means your future content will rank higher in their feeds from there on out. The share button is even more important because that is them sharing your work to their audience, which is a great way to grow your own audience. If your audience is sharing your post to their audiences, you're going to start to get new followers. From there, another effective way to grow your audience is through digital partnerships. To find accounts online or other individuals online who have the audience that you're trying to approach, that you're trying to reach, and to form a partnership with them. And that could look like you creating content for their channel in exchange for a shout out. That could look like you doing an IG live together where you're interviewing each other. That could look like you doing a contest together. that could look like an IG takeover. So for example, with health and fitness entrepreneurs, you should be reaching out to the digital magazines or the actual magazines and their social platforms to see what content or IG takeovers or lives you can do with them to start bringing their audience into your ecosystem. So audience growth is the second strategy. Number 3, it's not just enough to grow your audience and get good content in front of them. You have to engage them. This is not about posting and ghosting. This is about engaging with your audience, having real human conversations with the people who are taking the time to invest their attention into you. This shows your authenticity. This shows that you're a real person. This shows that you want to build that long-term relationship of trust and rapport with your audience. That is going to lead to more clients. Take the time to engage with your audience, have conversations with them, whether it's in the comment section, whether it's in your DM section, but you should be an active participant in the conversation, not just at the top of the mountain, throwing stuff down, hoping people consume it, and then just continue to throw more stuff down. This is a two-way communication that you are trying to earn with your audience. Number 4 is list building. We have to build a list of people off of social media, because guess what? You call Instagram, you call Facebook, and you say, listen, thank you so much. I now have all these followers. Can I get a CSV file of all my followers' information, their phone numbers and email addresses? Good luck, you're not gonna get it. So yes, it's important to build our audience on the social platforms because that's where they are, but we need to build a list off of the social platforms, a list that we own, not that we rent, but we own. We own our email list, we own our text list, we own our client mailing list. I would even say that, like, if you have a podcast, you own that audience a lot more than you own your Instagram audience because there's no algorithm preventing whether or not people are served your podcast. So where can you also get people to a list that you own? So for us, yes, we have our email list, and the best way to grow an email list is to have free guides, free tutorials, free resources that you're giving away in exchange for people joining your list. We also have grown a text list, and we've given away offers for people to get into our text list as well. So list building, an opt-in where people are saying, yes, you can further market me because if I join your list, I am way more likely to be a client of yours than someone who just wants to follow you on social media and has no interest in joining a subscription list from you. Then number 5, I already kind of teased it, which is SMS marketing. To grow a list leveraging SMS. Now, email is great and email still works, but email has an open rate average of 18%. Which means you have to build a really big list to get the conversions that you're going to want to see with your offers. Text marketing, text SMS have an open rate of 98%. This is an amazing opportunity for you to build a great list of a highly engaged audience because a 98% open rate, and the individuals who sign up for a text list, because they're giving away their phone number and not just an email address, it's going to create a more enriched connection that you have with that audience member, which means, once again, they are more likely to convert into a customer or a client of yours. So those are the top 5 marketing strategies that you need to be focusing on in 2021. Your content marketing system, your audience growth, your audience engagement, your list building activities, and then leaning into SMS text marketing. Once again, thank you so much for tuning into this video. You can connect with me directly by texting me 480-605-3254, or you can go to jamespatrick.com/coaching. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. We'll talk to you in the next one.